So a few days ago, before the world went to shit, I saw The Invisible Man, the newest scary thriller action film. And it wasn't great. In fact, it was kind of disappointing. I was actually expecting a lot more from this film, considering it was directed and written by the same guy who created Upgrade from 2018, a movie I really enjoyed and had some interesting concepts that were nicely presented. I also enjoyed parts of this film, but to a much lesser extent. Not just because Upgrade had a stronger story, it was also disappointing because the first 10 minutes of this film were really good. We watch as Cecilia, the main character, leaves her abusive boyfriend's house during the night so he won't notice anything. And when I say house, I really mean mansion. And the whole sequence was very well put together, really sucks you into the film and sets up the atmosphere, makes you curious to see what's going to happen next. But then the film transformed into a cliché scary movie where the protagonist is the only one who can see the supernatural entity or the only one who knows he exists, and that's when things became disappointing. And this went on for a while, over an hour actually, and during this period there was not much substance in the film. It was weak and generic in terms of characters and dialogue. Discounting Cecilia, every other person is just there to serve as background paper. They aren't fully fleshed out human beings, they're just NPCs in the protagonist's life. And the scary moments when someone invisible might be in the room doing something creepy weren't as scary as I wanted them to be. For starters, they didn't need to add creepy generic horror film music when it was time for the audience to get scared. It just made the film come off bland and mediocre. And it turns out that when creepy things are happening, it isn't that terrifying when you don't see the supernatural creature. Or at least it wasn't very well executed in this film. It was pretty lackluster actually. I would say this is a better constructed movie than the one with Kevin Bacon, where he is invisible, but that one was far more entertaining than this. I guess the fact that they chose to focus on the Invisible Man as the lead made the plot more compelling. It was far more interesting seeing a guy becoming an invisible homicidal psychopath than is watching someone being scared by an invisible abusive ex-boyfriend. But don't get me wrong, the psychological aspect of that premise, her knowing he's invisible but everyone else thinking she's just crazy and traumatized, is intriguing and definitely worth discussing. I just don't think the movie did a well enough job to be praised for it. It was a nice try, but the fact that every character she talks to about this situation either has the same monotone reaction of non-belief or is just there to spell things to the audience like the people watching are too dumb to come to a conclusion on their own, didn't make me want to praise the film on its combination of scares with a smart narrative about how women can be manipulated and abused in harmful relationships. But I guess some critics enjoyed the generic surface level crap this film had to offer. I wasn't one of them. What I did enjoy, however, were the action scenes and the third act. It was about 9 minutes in that the film seemed to regain some of the energy of the first 10 minutes. And honestly, I loved every single moment of it. It wasn't perfect, there were a few twists and turns that, in my opinion, the film could have left out. But in terms of entertainment value and pure enjoyment, it was pretty awesome. So much so that it even made me reconsider the rating I was going to award this film. But in the end, I still think the film was disappointing. Considering how it began and how it ended, that 1 hour and something in between should have been much better than it was. I'm giving The Invisible Man a 4 out of 10. It's closer to a 5 than a 3, and I wouldn't call it a bad movie. It was more of a weak film than anything else. It had some moments, but overall I don't think it managed to balance them very well. And unlike Upgrade, a movie that had some interesting ideas to offer, this one is far more clumsy and generic with its presentation. And yes, I am talking about the smart narrative, or whatever Wikipedia calls it. Not really sure if I would recommend this one. Probably not, unless you're really into this type of movies. Then sure, why not? It's not terrible. Anyway, see you next time.